A pleasant morning to each and everyone. My name is Clyde Aisalandagat, and this is the part 11 to 14 of the revised quarantine rules and regulations of 2004. Let's start the part 11, which is all about the measures on public health emergencies of international concern. Section 53, it is all about the preparedness and response guidelines. So the Bureau of Quarantine shall institute rules and regulations governing the measures for the control of the introduction and spread of public health emergencies of international concern at the port and airport of entry. So in the event of an outbreak of public health emergency of international concern in a community, the director of the Bureau shall recommend to the Secretary of Health the following measures for the prevention of transmission and spread of such public health emergency in coordination with Department of Health agencies. So these are the following. We have the apprehension, detention or isolation or surveillance of suspect cases, place under active or passive surveillance individual who have been exposed to the infection considered as dangerous contact. And lastly is to declare an area or community under quarantine where the public health emergency occurs. Part 12, which is all about management protocol for diseases subject to the international health regulations. Section 54, which is all about cholera. Cholera infected ship or aircraft. So a ship or aircraft shall be regarded as infected if during the voyage a case of cholera has occurred on board. So when coming from a cholera infected area, a ship or an aircraft on arrival shall be regarded as non-infected if upon inspection by the quarantine medical officer, there is no case of cholera that has occurred on board during the voyage. So we also have here the management of cholera infected person or suspect, the medical examination of crew and passengers. We also have the patient shall be disembarked, isolated and treated, and to be followed by the section 55, which is all about the plug infected or suspected ship or aircraft. So general consideration, we have here a ship or an aircraft on arrival shall be regarded as plague infected if it has a case of human or rodent plague on board. So a ship also on arrival shall be regarded as suspected if it has no case of human plague on board, but there is an abnormal death among rodents on board with a known case. So we have here the management of plague infected person or suspect. The same with the cholera, the medical examination of crew and passengers. The patients with plague shall be disembarked, isolated, and treated. Asymptotic suspect will be placed in quarantine or placed under surveillance. And then the baggage of a plague infected person or suspect and any other article or part of the ship or aircraft considered to be contaminated shall be disinfected. We have the section 56, the yellow fever. So yellow fever infected or suspected ship or aircraft. General conclusion, a ship or aircraft shall be regarded as yellow fever infected if it has a case of yellow fever on board. Just the same with the section 55, the plague, and then section 54, the cholera. Just the same general consideration. And for the management of yellow fever infected person or suspect, we have here the medical examination of all passengers and crew. We have the temperature of all passengers and crews may be taken when necessary. We also have the ship or aircraft shall be inspected and subjected to vector control measures on board until such measures have been carried out. A vessel shall be considered in quarantine. Part 13. It is all about the medical clearance of foreigners for immigration purposes. We have here the Section 57, Medical Examination of Foreigners or Aliens for Immigration Purposes. So, as the medical arm of the Bureau of Immigration pursuant to RA 997 of 1954 as amended by RA 1241 of 1955, the Bureau of Quarantine is mandated to conduct physical and medical examination of foreigners or aliens seeking residency in the country as a prerequisite to the issuance of their corresponding visa by the Bureau of Immigration. And then the clarifications of defects and diseases of foreigners or aliens which are subject to administrative disposition by the Bureau of Immigration. We have here Class A classification that a foreigner has a communicable disease of public significance and or has a physical or mental disorder that may pose or has posed a threat to the property, safety, or welfare to himself or to others. We also have Class B, a classification that a foreigner has a physical or a mental abnormality, disease, or disability, serious in degree or permanent, resulting to a substantial departure from his or her normal well being, which may affect his ability to earn a living. And then lastly, we have the Class C, which is a classification that a foreigner is afflicted with any condition properly classified as a physical defect or disease which is minor or transient in nature and not likely to affect his ability to earn living. Part 14, which is all about the utilization of income. Section 58. Authority to utilize at least 50% of the income. So, to prescribe the guidelines relative to the implementation of Section 9 of the Quarantine Act of 2004, RA 9271 quoted as follows. So, Section 9, authorized to utilize income, the Bureau of Quarantine shall be authorized to use at least 50% of the income generated, subject to accounting and auditing rules and regulations. So here, the 50% income generated shall be retained and constituted as a trust fund to augment the requirements of the Bureau for the maintenance and other operating expenditure and capital outlays, provided, however, no amount in the said trust fund shall be used for the payment of salaries and other allowances and benefits in such cash or kind. So the Bureau also shall maintain separate books of accounts to cover the receipt and utilization of all income collected pursuant to the usual budgeting, accounting, and auditing rules and regulations. That would be all. Thank you.